Namendala Kanya Dayami Sanje Chetan Soji Chanala Chanju Badu Dani Jesu Taki Chijinji Chonanji Drala Benji Sanje Lu So Sanje Chetan Soji Chanala Chanju Badu Dani Taki Chijinji Chonanji Drala Benji Sanje Sanje Chetan Soji Chanala Chanji Badu Dani Jesu Iwe Chonanji Drala Benji Sanje Juba Shos Sadana Medam Nanji Omboda Jejin Lazo Juju La Jawa Javana Sanje Sumbara Doshin Jurich Taji Temechin Diri Jiri Jejin Jesa Tenjin Cheba La Chodo Tejin Kuwai Ndira La Benya Jesu Jesu Jayin Med Ambitani Leba Tula Tuesuni Namena Namokai Namichin Trubun Tadam Mekan Draw Guijana Jason Batam Jepun Dagi Jedun O Lasata Kasuri Bechi Trabe Dembaton Troji Kase or the Dembaton Combalama Tedin only David Troji Combalama Tedin Chabachi Main, but in the Karasungo is an only Tamam, and then she changed Muslim to Toive, then she changed Toala Dene, and it's changed Lang Muslim Kisaman Toidi, and you come back, and it's how you got him, and Tabrajana then the Combe.
Quoting from the sayings of the glorious Dharmakirti, who stays saying that, by realizing emptiness, then one is liberated. So when one realizes the reality of the Four Noble Truths directly, clearly, and by meditating upon this, supported by extraordinary methods, then that is how that liberation is actualized.
Oh yeah, Gombasama Tedin Sirigana. Anijum Degi Kasore Dembashi Deshi Ane Kunjula Kunya Mochela Tempe Demba Idam Anamjala Demba Gil. And then by the Asian, the Quadana Lamdensi, then by Sisum. Then by Shibo Lion, and the Chachi Jutuxoni, Chachi Sisi Jutuxoni. What tender you that? Pena to them like Dunga Dembala Chasana, and the Dunga Dembi Dingi, Chachi Kande Shawaresana, Mita Dungawa. So,
when the Buddha taught on the Four Noble Truths, then you have these, the truths that are completely on the side of afflictions, one truth, and the two, true suffering, true origin, and then the two truths that are completely on the side of that which is purified. The cessation and true path. So each one of these, the explanation for each one of these four truths, Four Noble Truths, has four attributes each, and so altogether you have these 16 attributes with regards to the Four Noble Truths. So what are the four attributes of the Noble Truth of suffering? True suffering is the attribute of being impermanent, suffering, empty, and selfless.
That Deshi Sundi Kanayang, some then take Deshi Sundi Kanar. Probably, and the two ten Tambosong. Tene Kunjung, Tena Goten, Tena Labne Sunato. Uncle Gashila, and the Kunjung Tambosong, Tena two Denson, Tena Lamdeson, Tena Goten Sunan.
So when Buddha taught on the Four Noble Truths, sometimes he taught it in the series of the truth of suffering, true origin, true cessation, true path. Then at other times, then he taught it in the series of true origin, true suffering, true path, true cessation.
대인상 다 대다 숨발라 아니 그와 캐버자 레레요와 다 군주 담보를 숨 아니 대내고도 대송 대내가 남대송 대내 과대송에 되라 아니 코는 주비린 비wan도钱나 토마 아니 단단한라 주니 나 말이봐 지구내랑데 레사야 아니 레디 되고 실행 그 답니 레들라 파자 레디 파자라 실행지 서 대외 저 아니 사장님이 공부도 조거와 인상 군대지리 비wan도钱네 아니 군주 담보송 저도 된 제송 주신 바래
So there was extraordinary reasons or purposes for teaching in these respective series. In the series of true origin, true suffering, true path, and true cessation. That was explained in the context of how one engages in cyclic existence. Like in the context of the 12 links, then you have first ignorance. Due to that, you have the karma, and the results of that karma are sort of brought into fruition by craving and grasping that matures that karmic imprint, thereby bring forth the ripening result of the contaminated aggregates. And so from the point of view of how cause and effect takes place, then this series of the Four Noble Truths teaching on the truth of origin first was taught.
대신도 아는 남장기 군대기 많이지 나네 아니 대부 농아방배 방바 농아녀와 시비니 시대 터발라 응을라 아니 당진 그 생윤방 무슨도 도배 아니 다음에 무슨 또왜 남대인데 탑네 남대인데 아니 탑쳐봐잖아 손도 제대 권발라 아니 대부 어느 과대인데 토거와 인장 어디 다 되니 이거들라 가소리 군대스리 가나 군대 차지받아 말해대 과대인데 아니 가소리 깨비 군대다 말해대 아니 남대도 권발할 때는 토바 인상 아니 투신 군대 지지를 봐 투시한 거 아래.
And then in teaching the two truths, the truth of that which is completely on the side of the purified phenomena, then to teach that series of cause and effect, then for those who wish to attain the total pacification of suffering and achieve that peace, then that is done so on the basis of negating the object of the grasping at true existence. And that is done, doing this, accomplishing this is based on the true path, independence upon the true path. And the true path, that which is supported by the extraordinary method, is what brings forth the result of that cessation. So this relationship is not cause and effect in the true sense of the word, but because a cessation is achieved in dependence upon the true path. So that you have this series.
Oh, that day. 군대 tenjirin 비wan도 전에 안에 숨은한테 체. 다 동아 당보를 쏜네, 두대 당보를 쏜네, 뒤대라 군중당. 대내 안에 고대당, 대내 남대 쏜야 돼. 안에 그와 가르쳐도 숨바래서나. 안에 다 남냠소 렘비. 안에 도자기 줄라. 온도 깨비를 받아 tum바. 어 숨바인 바래. 남지를 받게 비십시다 tum바.
So you have this is the reasoning behind this series of explanation of cause and effect. And in the context of teaching the reality of suffering first, and then the true origin, true cessation, true path, the reason for that is from the perspective of the disciples practicing of the path, what it takes to generate the path to actualize the higher rebirth.
Thoma dunga demba sungji kana, dunga deba tenla pepa teng. Ani teji mita le dunga lane dame sung chani, namde tsawi kausu. Ani chaji shi kona tenla papti kana. Ani dunga debi chaji tela mita patang, dunga watang, tonga tang dame pa seni, chaji shi kona tenla pekawari.
So, establishing what is the reality of the truth of suffering in the context of these four attributes as taught in the Pramanavartika, that it is impermanent, that it is suffering, that it is empty and selfless.
한들지래 세나 아니 계신 지바 규전라 때네 계신 아니 제와당 랑경어 아니 지병어 추바 안 지바 태양 아니 지바 태산의 때문에가 랑경아 그 지바 인장 미다바싱에 간들지래 쓰래 세나 아니 규전 지바 계시 그 지바 다 뒤에 그 최저지 인체자라你对几天去确定看上我不去引起家了这个基本按照建议吧因为没大把谁的这个基本按照就是没大把是个的哇
applying the reality of suffering in terms of this world, the habitat of this world, and the habitants, the sentient beings. So that it is a product of causes and conditions, and therefore in the nature of being destroyed. So the moment it is brought into production, at the same time, its nature to be destroyed. Its nature of being the nature of being destroyed, then it's existent at the same time. So that destruction doesn't need to, depend upon other features. It's by itself, of its own nature, then it is subject to destruction. So in being destroyed, then you have destruction due to causes and conditions, a process of destruction taking place from moment to moment. So in relation to all functioning entities, in relation to all compounded phenomena, then it is like that. It is impermanent in being subject to destruction due to causes and conditions, impermanent because it self-destructs from moment to moment.
Oh yeah, the mitabade shi. Da dunga wa shi kana. Ani mitaba yimba zam yin zang. Ani gyujen ji jishin. Ani rangenga ge jibin anzu jian yimba yin zang. Dan ni ji ne dan ji du da. 最深层的对比，安尼碰不拉说个，我拉说话的哒，安尼你懂我话是个，经济情感扩张，这不就向往的生活现状，经济情感扩张，你就看得起来这个的是呢，啊那两大你们个往个结吧，两年级往个穷啊，两年个往个穷啊现状，让往站里面吧。 结巴天下两年就往个结巴，结巴天下两年就向往建议吧。人上没大把，这面的这基本上就人上没大精。但你的碰不了家里个碰不可让，俺的两年就向往建人上，俺的东我去的，东我的，人上东我说的没大精，两年个向往进了东我是个的，是吧
So, and then you have the second attribute of suffering. Because it is impermanent, it is of a suffering nature. Suffering nature because it is impermanent, brought on by causes and conditions, and self-destructing. And this applies to the habitat of our world and the inhabitants of the sentient beings. In relation to these aggregates, they are all suffering in nature. suffering in nature, because what produces it are causes and conditions. It is the result of causes and conditions, and those causes and conditions that produces it is the karma and afflictions. And because it is an arising out of karma and afflictions, it has no autonomy, no independence of any kind. And when it is destroyed, also that destruction is due to karma and afflictions. So in that destruction due to karma and afflictions, so therefore it is impermanent. This kind of changing from moment to moment. These contaminated aggregates that we have, then because it is a product of a karma and afflictions, so it is under the control of karma and afflictions, and therefore suffering. And because its destruction, its impermanence, its destruction, is also under the control. Of karma and afflictions. So it is suffering.
That digi mitabata dungawa sati to share. That dini yujen akasa rangi yujen la dena chungwa yinzang dongwa sati anita kasore aranja to be zayo dongwa. 풍보단 천이 미든방 못하대밖에 동화되라 동화 시가리 와
So then you have impermanence and suffering, and then you have the third characteristic, that is empty, because it is a product of its own causes and conditions, so it is empty of being, substantially existent, self-sufficiently existent. That it is empty of being a sort of dual in nature. The aggregates and its characteristics. Empty of being like different in nature.
Oh, Dijela, ane Dadumatuba se gana Kasa Dabu, Da Rawan do Matuba. Ane Kaso de Pumbola Matuba, Kana Matuba, Gijana Matuba, Rawangi Matubati. Tak Kasan Kanyo Makshuana Shin Cheni. 闲了让两把银章，俺那闲了让马家把用，让完都没出把的，大美钱呢。天在为切去修我的，人把心多的个了，汤不没大把多，没大把银把了带，没大把银章，俺那连有个想法建议，俺那他说的连有就没大钱，连有想法建议把东澳的多，东澳的没大钱，连年去想往前去东澳个，俺那主席台了点呢，俺那他说的让家话的，通过他曾经没得不要个让家话的去的，第一大来，俺那让家不卡说的，让我都没做把这人把许多，我都是多的咱把，那就进来接的咱把人把太大对，俺那落人民这个印章。 提人把他听把，俺那通都是这个啦，有讲都点汤不些的都是一把的，
So then you have the fourth attribute, which is selfless. That the person is not autonomous or not independent. That the aggregates, does not exist without dependence. On causes and conditions, so that it is not something which is independent but existing due to dependence. So in that way, it is selfless, selfless in nature. So first of these four attributes, then the first attribute to realize is that it is impermanent. Because it is impermanent, so it is impermanent because it is under the control of afflictions and karma. And because it is under the control of afflictions and karma, it is in the nature of suffering. And being in the nature of suffering, so it is not substantially existent. That the aggregates and its characteristics are not of a different nature, are empty of being of a different nature, empty of being substantially existent. And because it is not independently existent, so because it is not autonomously existent, so it is selfless. It does not self-exist. So for a yogic practitioner, the series in which these realizations are actualized is in this particular series. First impermanence, then suffering, then empty, then selfless. So therefore, teaching the Four Noble Truths in this context of teaching the noble truth of suffering first and then true origin is in the context of how a yogic practitioner, how that yogic practitioner generates the series of these realizations. So in that context, this particular series was taught.
Oh yeah, that is the tendency. That ribangama tene chima, ane drupte. Ane dame be ten la party, don't buy ten la party. Ane don't you do you see Muslim Tony Dodi? Ane don't you know Muslim just Saman 20. Tender with Tony Dobi, you see that Tashi Sunday Yansu Lambala, then they ran you Chima, Ramba, into Johnny, Tara Ane, Chimatamja and Tawaki, Ane Shindun of the Sanja Chu Tavatu.
So in dependence upon prior realizations, becoming the basis for generating the later realizations, and in that way establishing that wisdom realizing emptiness directly, clearly, and with this unified practice of the method and wisdom, then purifying all of the defilements of the mind, and in accomplishing this, then actualizing the total purity of the state of the Dhammakaya.
Oh yeah, that Kasan Shintam to Mahashi Gala. That Kasan Pacheti in by your side. Kasare Kasadi in by your side. That on television to Shin to written on me Shin Shecha Day. Tomerashin was the Andala Chonito. Sigala. Ani Tishisha Chugudan, Tishisha Wadan, Rick Jenny. And you sumishani, the Rashin Chugudan, Tishinida, Ridani. Tini Pisum Chidani, Manamjini, Shewacha, Jenny, or Chugudan, Tishinida, Ani Rashin Rick Sumishani, that Rick Shag Kaduti by your assumption, Kazan. There's a joy.
So I think last time we were talking about verse 145, the three natures of this essence, the doctrine body of self-arisen, exalted wisdom, the unchangeable suchness, and the lineage for achieving Buddhahood are to be known respectively through the three examples, one example gold, and the remaining 5 examples. So talking about the Dhammakaya, the Tathagata, and Dhammakaya, Tathagata, and the lineage. So we were at this third point of explaining the lineage.
The
Dhammakaya, the suchness, and the lineage. Amen.
Bella Detan Jebu King Bella Gune, and a retailer, Rashin to never return, and a gentle ringing number Sheva Chate. Shechate, Tommy Rashin or the Yandala or Chonido, say Toma Membane, Rashin to never, Toma Membane, on what it was. And the Yandala or Choni, so Tesok Diagi, Yanjuki, Sunguarita.
So, explaining the two lineages, the naturally abiding lineage and the developmental lineage by way of these examples. Where are we?
Page 191.
In 191. So, Sumjin Yasani 322. Okay, I don't have the Tibetan count. Yeah. Okay, which verse did you say? 151?
150.
Oh, yeah. Like the treasure that naturally remains under the ground and a fruit tree that gradually grows with the exertion, the lineage is to be known as having two aspects: the pure element of a superior's qualities that naturally abides since beginner's time, and the developmental lineage of supreme virtue newly aroused through the exertion of hearing and so forth that are concerned with the naturally abiding lineage. So,
oh yeah, that's Devala. Tambo Tawa Javani, Tawa Della, region where you pay attention down, region you pay attention. That region was an attack. She never tell her. Tambon, their tambon and Nawatang. Only Bebe and Ruby, Jerry Sing do, Batola than a Chumagi, and a younger Jerry Sing do. Read the number in Shiva Chade. Read the number in Shiva Chade. Toma Mabana, Samjirashi to Nava, Seka, Samjirashi, Yesawa. I'm Samirashi number Tabak Tony de la Yesawa. Rashinari Tang Tessamji Genjis Sadu Yandaba Namala Jimmy, Nede, Chima Numa Jantu Juba Chonito,
So the root text is explained by the simile for the entity of the lineage, simile for the potential of the lineage. So the lineage has these two natures: the natural abiding lineage illustrated by the treasure, and then the developmental lineage illustrated by the tree, like a treasure that has been there since the beginning, and like a tree that is the fruit of effort. The lineage has two aspects. These are the naturally abiding lineage, which is the luminous nature of the mind, the pure nature of the mind, which has abided as the nature of the mind since beginner's time, and the lineage arising from proper appropriation, which is brought about by the force of the circumstances such as hearing and contemplation. The latter is considered the greater because it is characterized by having potential.
Rashinari Kandashi Shaguare is an a Chabasum then. Toma Mebana, China Jido Onwa. And it's Chini Jito Toba. And it's Tuba Shela Damba. Otu Shaguare, Chachusum then.
Samsambe,
Rashinari Chabasum then.
Dingju Redujedu.
랑신디가 니가 된 유제체. 라.
란신네들라.
랑신네리당 제주리니가 뒤체.
란신네들라 개봤음된.
랑신네르들라 개봤음된. 토마메반에 진에 기디기디와. 춘이지 dob지 토바. 주바 이지남시라 땜바. 두샤거리.
So presentation of these two lineages in this manner is in accordance with the Madhyamika system. According to the Chittamatra system, both of these two lineages, the naturally abiding Buddha and nature and the developmental lineage, are both considered to be compounded phenomena, and the naturally this naturally abiding lineage is characterized as having these three features, being beginless because it has continued on from one moment to, from one to the next. So beginless in that kind of way. Continued on from one to the other since beginner's time. And the second feature is that it is achieved or attained due to reality. And then that it is dependent, its establishment is dependent upon a mental consciousness.
그래서 통마 매반에 제가 통마 매반에 심 통마 매바 인상 아니 심기 띵도 양신내리 심기 띵도 요아래 인자 통마 매반에 진해지디요 와 심딩기 니와지가 샤거아래 야 인자 통마 매반 지디지디요 요아세 니와지 토바 태양 나 산제 그 주run기 니와지 토바 태양 아니 천이 토바 만도 아니 유전 현지 사주샤바 마인바.
So the fact that it is beginless because our mind is beginless, and this naturally abiding lineage exists on the basis of the mind, and it is that potential, And how is this potential achieved? Is not because this potential to transform ourselves into the Buddha body. This potential is not achieved due to cause and conditions, but due to reality. Due to the power of reality, it is achieved. It is obtained.
왕시 딘조 가까래 제 가까래 미게와 딘 소아리 좋아 군신 남바 시야지 템보 남신한테 템바지 레데 kho양 군신 남자 시야라야 안에 가시나 딘 doctor와 인자 산제가 살아봐 만들어와 인자 다 댄사 댄 안에 주바이지 제제라 템바 전에 다 제주 숨된 딘지 시야거래.
And where does this potential depend upon? What does it rely upon? It relies upon the sixth mental consciousness. Although there is the talk of the foundational consciousness, but it's that foundational consciousness, mind basis of all. That is not what it depends upon. But it is said to this naturally abiding lineage is said to depend upon the mental consciousness.
아니 퇴외 진지 아니 말이지 가소래 이진함시 딘디 뉴와데 세바나 아니 고 견주를 좋아해 견주를
So what is referred to as this developmental lineage? So in order to actualize the cause and effect path, Mahayana path, then in order to actualize the cause and effect of a Mahayana path, then the causes and conditions are are those of hearing the teachings, and due to the conditions of hearing these teachings, then making manifest this lineage within our mental consciousness.
Zela samna lamdu shuna niga yende se ganta lamdu shudi gana marji rashineri gu niwa khorang lamdu shudi gala ane tela tesamji setaba yinjang ane tendawe teso ku setawe chuba iji jeje ki tingi niwa de genyu ridang rashineri niga re It's just what it.
To be
new Jua, or the rationary Jua, or the rationary down, and again you got it.
The Susun Jeremy Karina Sumbrisma
sending, leadership, sending, passing Java. This is sending.
So in Lama Tsongkhapa's writings of lecture setting, the golden garland of excellent sayings, within that then it is explained that for a practitioner who enters into the path, and then upon entry into the path, then due to the conditions of hearing the teachings, reflecting on the teachings, then brings forth the ripening of this naturally abiding lineage, that which exists on the basis of the mental consciousness. Brings forth the ripening of that, and bring forth that ripening of that naturally abiding lineage that which exists in the mental consciousness. So according to Lama Tsongkhapa, then both of these two lineages, the naturally abiding lineage and the developmental lineage, are dependent upon this mental consciousness. The Rignija Chuba Yignashal Tevres.
Chuba in the mother. Chuba is the machine thinking new what the Yanma Chachisum de Rashin Erijua. What tender with Rashin Eri Tela, Tersum Gins sort of Tana.
Sort of Tana.
And I tender with Rashin Eri de Genju Rida Rashin Eri Nigares.
So this naturally abiding lineage, which is brought into fruition by listening and contemplation, that lineage which is brought into fruition by listening and reflection is both a naturally abiding lineage and a developmental lineage.
That's why there are some say Ngaji Rashin Iri Ko Ani Teso set up the Tamba, Ani Genju Namita Yunkara in Bayanta.
So you see, this prior naturally abiding lineage, when it is brought into sort of fruition or ripening due to listening and contemplation, then is what is also the developmental lineage.
No, not Ludilla, and it Rashinari Dijamuteba. Genju Rigi, and it Dijajuku Jurung, Sanjajuku Jurung Chuna, the Genju Rigi, Yandabalawala Chudi, Chumi Rigi, Sanjajuku Jurung at the Kawalatan Chumare Sanade, Timasimji Rashina Mashuba, Sim Arashiji, Timasimji Rashina Mashuba. Rashin number Taba Yinzang, Anna Yantabalama, the Sanja Kujuruna Shoko, Juyong Yinzang, Tima Semji Rashin, La Mashubi, Semji Chini de, Anna Sanja Choku Juru Yinzang, Kuala Rashin Namda, Kasore, Rashin Eri is Sigore. So
in this system, in this system, the naturally abiding lineage is not a compounded phenomenon. It's not a compounded phenomenon. So, and the developmental lineage that has the potency for transformation into a Buddha body, is made possible due to perfect or pure applications, engagements. And so one is able to do this because the defilements does not exist in the nature of the mind. And so therefore, then one is able to attain that natural purity of the Dhammakaya state.
Oh yeah. That didn't really new better trading the Jayatela. New Year was on better trading and better trading Shaba. That Tambo Rashi, you never read on Sarashin Heritage, Yandabala Long, Nina Toma research again, except a shadow. Rashi, you never read down, Randabella, Nina Toma, read the Sabra Chabak, Genji, and it is Sabra Chiguare, Gen Carresana, that Resabra Chabak, Tersam Gonsum. Tersok Gentami, and a Terwala Dana, and a Samjung Shara Jidikana, and a Tibachimbi, Yagu Kondo Shaba Nashi, and a Tibachimbi Chalami, Mewatang, and it's a one inch Chambotang, and a Tony to be Shara La Soa, and a Tibachimbi didn't be Namsata Terwala Dana, and a Tatigi knew what the ass said to Zamba. Or the new says, Sirigana Casore Simding do any Casu Teso Sotawala Dana, do you check good Jurungi Nuva data? Chiatana, Quant Pevachika, Kuchana. Do you check good Juruniva, the Quant Pevacheva in Zang, Rashi Dinavi Ritian, any Tedang Tsumba, any Tuma Jurunapa Casore. Teso Tawadanda, Judan Rogu Amarite, Teso Tawadanda, join Zang, Sapa, set in the Jugambari.
So then the simile for the potential of the lineage, which has the divisions of the potential and the explanations of the example. So the divisions of the potential. Initially, the lineage is awoken by circumstances. Bodhicitta is developed, its practices are taken up, and the desire to attain the three bodies of the Buddha is generated. The first, what awakens this lineage are the conditions of the listening to, hearing the Dharma, reflecting upon it, meditating upon it, and through such as these processes, then we generate the wisdom arising out of those contemplations, and thereby, thereby actualize the mind, due to the factors of those, devotion to the minor Dharma, compassion, wisdom realizing emptiness. So in this way, one is able to actualize the minor scopes, cause and result. So, the first body, the Dhammakaya, is attained through the first lineage, the naturally abiding lineage. The two forms of bodies are attained through the second lineage, the lineage arising from proper appropriation. So on the basis of hearing the teachings and so forth, then this potential that exists on the basis of our mind, then is what is brought into fruition in the way of bringing forth the awakening into that Buddhahood state of that Dhammakaya. So and then whatever actualizes the Buddha bodies on the basis of the developmental lineage by the means of the proper appropriations, then you have the result of the two Buddha bodies. So the process of the proper appropriations, such as through listening, understanding, meditating, and so forth, these proper appropriations, then this is what brings forth the manifestation or the awakening of the state of the Dhammakaya in the naturally abiding lineage, and also the result of the two Buddha bodies of the developmental lineage. So therefore, these two lineages are regarded as the basis by which one attains the three Buddha bodies.
Teni machine sunde Hasan namda ke party jisude ani 퇴상을 때나 콘도 치니 치발라 때네 다 섬제 탐제도 산제 톡과 같이 두 냠도 아니 산제 탐제도 톡과 대도.
So the basis for being able to purify the defilements, and the purification of the defilements starts off with that devotion and generating the mind, compassion, and wisdom, realizing emptiness. So to train in these, first and foremost, then we have to generate the bodhicitta. You have to generate the bodhicitta, which is dependent upon the compassion, and in order to generate the compassion, then compassion has its own respective causes, such as starting off from recognition of all sentient beings as one's mother on the minor path, and from this cultivation all the way up to generating the extraordinary supreme thought of responsibility. And so all of these is inspired or invoked due to listening and reflection upon it, and on the basis of this, then concluding that one must attain enlightenment for the benefit of all mother sentient beings.
Then, Stomba Yungosum, Tony Towa, Tony Towe, and Denzin de Sanis, Denzin Yambotonda Yabatumna, Denzin Sanisum, Denzin Ponis Chame Trube. 아니 산제 톰 니바톰니 톰 니바토베 자나 아니다 가소레 텐라발라 때네 아니 산제지 구슴보 추구다 수구다 주구슴보데 아니 타바데바 다 데바데 도시한 거 아니바레
So because the realization of emptiness is possible, so the grasping at true existence can be exhausted. So in this way, then realizing one can get rid of the grasping at true existence, that one has the potential for actualizing that direct realization of emptiness, and on the basis of such criteria, then establishing the fact that one has the potential for attaining enlightenment, actualizing the three Buddha bodies, the Dharmakaya, the Sambhogakaya, and the Rupakaya.
인다 리딩이라 산제지 구숨 타바 되바 이체 되네다 가서래 리서치 길람다다 냠술남발라 때네 탈 Timada Javi Samji Chini de Ane Monigo de Chigung Order Ane Yandabanawala Chivi Rede Ane Sujukunikum or Jua Yindang. Any Tambukuni Tambo de Niwa in the Chimani Sitain Bari.
So these two lineages are asserted as the basis by which one can attain the three Buddha bodies. First, by awakening the lineage in oneself, by actualizing the suchness of the mind suchness of the mind that is with defilements, and then actualizing the nature body, the Buddha Swabhavakaya holy body, which transforms into the Dhammakaya, and by the means of proper appropriation, arising from this, then you have the Rupakayas, the two Rupakayas.
Oh, Tambukune Tambo de Niwa in Shechate Sage Tambo de Alecasore Chugu de Tony Muslim to Toy Rawa Ani Muslim to Tobi de Ishik Choche Rawa Ishik Chokombe Lachela Tony Muslim to Tobi Ishik Chokombe Lachela Ani Tishini Trimanaba Tabi Tabani de Chugu one you get to Tobare.
So the first body is the truth body, the Dhammakaya, which is actualized by generating the wisdom, directly realizing emptiness through the force of the accumulation of the merit of transcendental wisdom. Then Yishik Choksani can't sooner.
Yishik Chokombe Topji, so Yishik Chokomala Tane, and a Karichugulas and a Sanjago Chukutuguarwa. Chugu de la Tabani Denji Chugu Sena, Dumachi Chukujidang, and young Shivacha, Yishik Chachini or Ishichukusi.
And this through the accumulation of the merit of transcendental wisdom, you actualize the attainment of the Dharmakaya, the truth body, which is endowed with these two purities. The purity, the Dharmakaya has, one aspect that which is compounded, and the chik duja shme the namshe.
The Chukutil Tabani den Sumra. Tabani den Segate Ranshinam Datang, Ani Lubujitramanaba Tabateche.
The two purities referring to the natural purity and the purity of the purity from the adventitious defilements.
O Tabi, more you would sugure. Goten Chugure. Nida Tabani den Chugutang, say Garam, Oniguam, Goten de la Sungo Sanjek.
And so this purity is the Swabhavakaya body, the Buddhist body of nature itself. It is also the truth body, the Dhammakaya, and it is also cessation.
Ani Chitawa Chimbi Chuna, Sayana, Sanja Pabi Juji, Sheja Chitawa Musum Tobi, Shit Chungare, Stay Ishichuku Sadre.
So, and then, and in the continuum of the Arya Buddha, then you have that gnosis or that exalted wisdom, knowing exactly, which is the wisdom, the gnosis Dhammakaya.
Da, Loy Nega Sonam would so combi, Lachetela. Ani Sujukunabani, Longuta Trukunabani.
So, on the path, as a result of the accumulation of merit of virtue, you have the two form bodies, the two Rupakayas, the Sambhogakaya, perfect enjoyments, and the Nirmanakaya.
아니 진예바 제비 시 중오 스테네스에 송인도
And then and also the exalted wisdom, knowing the varieties of phenomena, knowing all conventionalities.
아디 가서 지단 진예바 진비 시대 이시초구래 인상 이시초구 인장 이시의 초구를 하셔야 총거야 저아래 단디 소남 그 초기 개발이 전에 송안제 만도체 이시초구스나 치다와다 진예발라 되되 스바타도 비천바달라 이시초구 시가래.
So this exalted wisdom, knowing the varieties of phenomena, is also a gnosis dharmakaya. It's also a gnosis dharmakaya, the transcendental wisdom dharmakaya, because that is the ultimate knower of a Buddha. But saying that as a result of the accumulation of the merit of virtue, then you have this particular wisdom. It's just to distinguish. It's just a distinction made, but that exalted wisdom, knowing the varieties of phenomena, is also the gnosis dharmakaya as well.
아니다 선한 조금 배라체라 쇼게 간데스 작을 해서나 산제 그 투지기 이신이 조처와 진여받치 비신이 아니 참단 배제지 때문에 안 두고다 수고를 나와 만도 산제 그 두고다 수고세야돼 아니 노차로 사발라 중이 아니 반복이 리중세 잠매바래 대인자 이시랑 아니 산제기 수고다 두기 남바샤와
So the point of saying that the exalted wisdom, knowing all the varieties of phenomena, is an imprint or result of the accumulation of a measure of virtue, is explained away in this particular verse, which says the gnosis within the mind of the Buddhas appears as the form bodies, and these can be abridged as the major and minor marks of enlightenment. But it should be known that there is not a trace of a material body composed of atoms and so forth. The assertion that the form bodies of the Buddha are merely appearances in the minds of that form body of the Buddha is a self is a self appearance of the transcendental wisdom.
Oh yeah, 근데 인자다 양산제지 수주고대 도지 현황점마도 아니 산제지 구수 도지 현황 바식만도 산제란지지 뒤와 조사에 매발 되바태야 아니 무디제발 처마서 교면서 무디베 차지 바래서 대한 말했어 산제란지지 뒤와 구수에 도시 현황자야 말에 워낙 가르를 여당대 가르를 해서나 누차라 사바 나신백의 반복되기 수라바들 많이 봐 산제 고랑 그 투지기 이시 안에 참나 버저기 제비 안에 산제 수구로 안에 샤르마
So and then the assertion that the form bodies of the Buddha are merely appearances in the minds of disciples, but do not exist at all as part of the Buddha's continuum, is no different to the assertion of the outsider Mimamsaka, which claims that it is impossible for a person to be completely purified of all defilement. Similarly, assertions that all conventional truths do not appear to the Buddha should also be known as wrong. So the Buddha's holy body is not a culmination of the atoms of material things, but it is the appearance of the transcendental wisdom, that transcendental wisdom appearing in these characteristics of the major and minor marks of the Buddha's holy body, and not the aggregation, or, not a culmination of all these atoms and materials.
Oh yeah, that the castle, in the Jimbata. That didn't march, Tashi Yage, Betin Shitty Shabata. New Year what a Betin Shitty Shabba said it. What did that day? New Year what a Betin Shitty Shabba, Dilla, Tadel, teaching to Sanja Rana, like Chineba, Super Meba, Deba Sojan, Chijilo to Shabba, Sanja Rana, Chitawa Tobamando, Chineba, Super Meba Dian. So Ramesh
just read the last part of the stanza. Similarly, assertions that all conventional truths do not appear to the Buddha should also be known as wrong. So in the next part is the explanations of the similes. Oh yeah, that is so. Within Java, the more you go say that there is a good Shavacha. More you could say one is a good Shati. Ranshin Chani, Casa Ranshin Chini Chami, and then in Chitain Chir, say that, or the Tigi Zawadi, Zawadi Carison would Esana, more you would tell a day, I remember you couldn't have a Shavachati. Ranshin Chini Chama, Gujenji Chava Mari, and then Rinji Tenashiri, says that did our tension good about. Root verse 152, the natural purity and beauty of good qualities of the nature body is to be known as like the image made from a precious substance, for that which abides naturally from the start is not made through new exertion, and the qualities of the powers and so forth are a treasure of precious substance. A statue made of previous substance does not depend upon its own compositional activity. So So the beautiful nature body is likened to a precious statue because it is naturally uncreated by other causes and circumstances, and because it is a treasure of good qualities. So this beautiful nature body is not something which is naturally uncreated, nor does it depend upon other causes and conditions. So it is not created by causes and conditions, nor it is endowed with causes and conditions, because then it would mean it is a compounded phenomenon. And because it is a treasury of good qualities, such as the powers and the fearlessness. So the Swabhavakaya holy body then is a treasure of good qualities like the 10 powers and the 4 states of fearlessness.
因他都当没去把他所有原点当点时间上点把写当，千把他这位原点当点是点的天着我的千把他这位原点点把的。
So,
是吧？
endowed with qualities of powers and fearlessness, of knowledge and loving concern.
因此，千把他这位原点的马点呢，按你第三节规则马应把他卷入的，是吧？
If it did not have those qualities of knowledge and loving concern, then it would not be a Buddha refuge.
因此，刘唐表告诉，多几年唐表告诉，三节规则我送去战吧，看的时候的是呢，对嘛前行很记住，先级见级多明白，前场再场另外的，推你点被三节你。即讲了，三节了，对嘛去了时候，原点家长带不去过的。
So, like in the first chapter of the 7 Vajra points, the first Vajra point of identifying what a Buddha refuge is, then is characterized as being uncreated, spontaneous, not dependent on another. Like that, there are these 8 characteristics that are attributed to a Buddha refuge.
因此，前把他过对嘛前来的，前把他这原点的电视的看来是呢，我天着于对嘛前进，我如果对居然点比看啥的居啦，俺那前把他这原点要把印象，俺过来前把他这原点的电视过的。
So, when this uncreated Swabhava Kaya holy body, when we say that it is endowed with these qualities of knowledge and loving concern, then we are saying that the individual, the being who is endowed with this nature body, Swabhava Kaya, has these qualities of knowledge and loving concern.
我一直前把的这位原点当带，前把的这位原点当接，但举荐当接，举荐当带是的，按照可能来举荐原美的下过的，因为举荐当马接，举荐当马带是最原美的。
So, endowed with causes and conditions, then you would have to say it has causes and conditions. It's with, and so that nature body does not have these features of being endowed or with causes and conditions.
因此，他到底到达没去把它所谓原点给带当原点当点把的写的。 아니我如果进来点别三家拍别去了，俺都不知道没去把起来说话，原来得到他点把印章，他都是这个样子的。
So, being with a treasury of these qualities, such as the powers and the states of fearlessness, when you attribute these qualities, then you're saying that this Arya Buddha, who has that, nature body, Swabhava Kaya, and is endowed with these qualities.
他第一讲了，接了，俺那他龙骨，快速的，考虑就叫我的确定这些地方的，是吧
The next stanza is, likening the Sambhava Kaya body to be likened to a universal monarch, the Chakravartin king.
早啊，确信假设切单亲，左龙考虑决心度，是吧？确信是意思，俺的头发前边切了龙这边确信比假设全部单两笔钱呢，俺的龙之左右过的考虑就要当心，知道吧？小啊恰事情，俺那
Because of possessing the great wealth of the kingdom of the great vehicle doctrine of the profound and the vast, the complete enjoyment body, which completely enjoys or makes use of the great vehicle doctrine, is like a universal monarch who controls the glorious wealth of the 7 precious substances and the 4 continents.
那龙贵确定呢，对吧啦？特别前辈确实假设啦，早把龙这边，是老把这边确前辈假设全部当单辈去，早把龙这边过年，俺就考虑就话赢了，是
Similarly, for the enjoyment body is a universal emperor because the enjoyment body reigns over a great kingdom of great Dharma, which means that it makes complete use of the kingdom of the Mayana Dharma in comparison to the features of the enjoyment body, the emanation. So the enjoyment body is is that holy body that enjoys all the Mahayana phenomena, having the 5 definite features, definite place because it always abides in Aknishta Buddha field. Definite time because it remains until the end of samsara. And definite entourage because it is always with an entourage of Arya Mahayana Arya Bodhisattvas. And definite Dharma because it only teaches on the Mahayana Dharma. And definite body because it is a body endowed with all the elaborations of the major and minor marks. So one can the enjoyment body, the Sambhogakaya body, can also be understood not just as a form body not just as the form body, but also can be understood as the speech, the Mahayana speech, as the Sambhogakaya body. And then because the root text, because of having the nature of a reflection of appearances in accordance with whatever will tame trainees, an emanation body is like a gold image.
Oh yeah, that is la. Longe zo yu gui chenpe le de de sunye ji rang xin yin bi chir. 如果呢，安尼设计，苏年写话到我是，龙就来对的，龙就作为归成本来对的，他苏年能知道吧？因把因上，按如果的设计苏年不能知道的，是吧
？In comparison to the features of the enjoyment body, the emanation body is just an image of the enjoyment body, and it is therefore likened to a golden image. Because the Nirmanakaya is just like a reflection of that Sambhogakaya body, so it is likened to a golden image. Tea.
Da quale so so dan de wa ji de wa de la da sang jie ji ri yue bai sang jie ning bo jian de xia ba tang xie jie long dan jia wa
So the commentary has 2 points. To have the lineage of the Buddha is to have the essence of the Buddha, and the second point is the scriptural authority. Because all because all sentient beings have the Buddha lineage, so we say that sentient beings possess the Tathagata essence. This Tathagata essence is that potency to transform into the Buddha body. Therefore, these 5 examples are on the basis of being endowed with the lineage to attain the 3 bodies of the Buddha. Therefore, the Tathagata element, which were means or cause, because the term dhatu can be rendered as cause, sphere, element, etc., expresses the essence of these sentient beings. So, because the defilements that are associated with the lineage can be purified, so it's like it's purified, so it's like the cause.
Sanje Jukunaba Sumjirab to Chavares, Sanjeres, Tela, Tishishabatella Kunabasum Pachaware. So
the Tathagata is a Buddha, and so as a Buddha then has these 3 Buddha bodies.
That Tishi will come Rinabani said, Ani Rashinam Rashidinaveri, Shugurun Tedam. Yanda Balawala Jumiri, and the Sugu Jurungi, Rinaba Yini, Gusum Tobaki Green Bear, Gusum the Tobatebi Green Bear, say Gana. That Yanda Balawala Jumiri, good Tanya Bache. Or that Casore Chilling the Rashinam Dade, Tela Dene, and the Kasana, Chugu Tobajua Yenza, the Green Mingatane, Green Bear. Did it come to turning due to come said that Gula
So the Tathagata is divided by 3 bodies, and so the 2 Tathagata elements, the elements or lineages are the causes of the 3 bodies. Therefore, here element means cause. So the element here refers to the causes for the Dhammakaya, which is the naturally abiding lineage, and the developmental lineage, or by proper appropriation. So this body arising due to proper appropriation is a cause in the true sense of the word. Is an actual cause. And whereas the naturally abiding lineage is a basis upon which that Dhammakaya is attained. So therefore, this element also means that it also means that it is a cause.
참자와당 농창바니 농창바당 뒤에 도시안을 때는 샤바 20예비나네 나 당보 참자와대라 르니 시가라 아니 라신 나이리당 연주의 르니 구순 토비리 어떤 주인바 관계 실 직톱직 그 주당 직탈할 때는 토박 주인바 관계 친나 대라양 샘젠다 샘젠이 소소 꾸라 아니 가서를 소소 꾸라 아니 지시시고 감 랑주라 추바스 지시시고 감 랑주디네 외리당 연주의 르니고디 아니 랑주라 추바 인부 추바 예매지 샘젠대다 된다위 르니고디 샘젠대다 그 시와 말이 직니와다 직두마체라와 시와 말이
So the scriptural authority is presented by 3 points: the link, the scripture, and the third point is significance as taught in other sutras. The link, the two lineages, the naturally abiding lineage and the development lineage, are the causes of the three bodies. Therefore, it is said that within each and every sentient being, the Tathagata, the element, exists at their core, but that this is not known by these sentient beings. Tanda gengi di deshe chikari chumbal. Tanda dila samjabe dila deshe tanda gengi nubati
rinniwo te samjaji kam soso kuna ibe tishi kam rinniwo ranjula madrubate ani samjaji jula yaware samja soso kuna yaware yanayang tenyiwo te samjaji tata kishiwa mare.
So although sentient beings have these two lineages, have these two Buddha lineages, but it's not something that which is known to sentient beings.
Oh yeah, that don't.
What? What did I say? gengi nubata dumache chiksun swanso.
구순대 도승아 양조 샤고라. 르니 세나 르니 세 gen주 지리다 라신네리 대체. 대니 구순토비 주인바 강기치나 준전 티치나스. 제가 양 샘젠다 샘젠니 샘젠 소소 꾸나 안에 티시시위 컴 안에 가서를 랑주라 추바 인부 추와디 예매지스. 다 뒤제도 두마체지 르닝보지 예매지스. 샘젠 대다기 시와니 말레스 르데 샘젠 대다기 시와 말레스. that's
So the two lineages, the naturally abiding lineage and the development lineage, are the causes of the three Buddha bodies, and these lineages exist in all sentient beings, and but it is not the knowledge, it's not known to sentient beings. These two lineages, one being in the potency, the other, and the other being the uncompounded.
Oh yeah, that one upon Cheva, one and Jumo, second, that read Yeba Todi Zamba, and they read John Kujurung read Yeba Todi Zamba, and they read John Jeki, and it tapped Tedaki, Rick Jangala, then a Tarishima, Sabati Yoma in Zang, and a Pine Cheva, that I want to good as
and if this fact were to be known to sentient beings, then it would be of great benefit, and this will be taught later.
That long Chamba said. 농장바스 청원빈 돌에 토마미비 최전지 감 관대 관대지 천은 군지 단단 단바 단단 가서 내단 단단 시인데 와 나 토마미비 아니 최전지 감스나 라신드네 이렇게당 아니 양다 발랑와다 주베리티 비 권대 처이 권대지 처 권놈 진내당 단다 시인데 시가나 릭디 치마 좋아 릭데라 내위 치마 릭데 최소 그建议 아니 치마 장나 아니 양알에 대요 고마 토바 치마 마장나 아니 코르코와 심지 치마 장나 아니 이렇게 가서 코에 초대 양알에 대요 고마 토바체 심지 치마 마장나 아니 심지 치마 되게 왕기 차단제대 차단티 왕기 레산데 아니 코르코와 주와 인장 르니워데 아니 콘데 군지 시가나 코와다 냥데기 셔군지 내당 땡당 시레 다디 되어를 두고대 인데 리드에 바니 저와그 코르코와다 냥알에 대와 토바타바이노
So read from the commentary, the scripture in an Abhidhamma Sutra. It says that the element has been in existence since beginningless time. It is the source, foundation, and source of all. It is the source, foundation, and support of all dharmas of samsara and nirvana. And because of the presence of the lineage, all beings circle in samsara, and the attainment of nirvana is possible. If the mind was not pure, to this which is said that if one purifies the defilements of this lineage, then you have the attainment of nirvana, and through listening, understanding, and so forth. Through these conditions, then one has the opportunity to purify the defilements that are associated with this lineage. On the other hand, then when one does not purify the defilements of this lineage, then one generates the clinging and the attachment and the aversion, which then creates the karmas for one's samsaric existence.
Semrashi namda menas, that Rashi neriti. Raw, Semji Chini Rashi Timana Batabade Mena, and then Semji Chini Rashi Tukure. Semji Chini Rashi Tumna, and it Tuma Semji Rashi La Shua Yidang, and it Tuma Jandu Mirumaki.
So,
and then you do menas.
If the mind was not pure by nature, the defilements would not possibly be removed. And so, if the mind by nature, if it was not pure, if the defilements existed in the nature of the mind, then one could not possibly remove these defilements. If the mind existed intrinsically, inherently, then one would not be able to remove these defilements. If the potential for the development of qualities were not there, the development of the host of excellent qualities would. If the potential for the development of qualities were not there, the development of a host of excellent qualities would be impossible. If there were no lineage circling in samsara, and the attainment nirvana would not be possible. So, without the lineage, then all this would not be possible.
Oh yeah, that 초루랑 오태대be 귀신남바 셔바 마인디에스다 루딜라 센터베데바 귀신남시 그 말에서 때때 뭐가지
Therefore, all these are made possible by the support of the naturally pure lineage. The next stanza is the viewpoint of the Chitmatran school's thought of the foundational consciousness. So we're going to skip that.
다숨바 뒤튼 또 현을 때는 셔바서데.
So then the third is significance as taught in other sutras.
어때라 토마미비 뒤전 세가 릭테체 뒤전다 감당 취진내당 코와당 양알랜데와 태비튼 셔바.
So in existence is beginningless time, referring to the lineage, and then second as the element, as the source of all dharmas, establishing samsara, establishing the validity of nirvana.
나 담보 반정기 돌아 티시시비시스 정시에 저와디체 다더니 감시원이 지가도 도대라 좀 된대지 티시시비 님보 강라바테 당라바디니 강라미네 고나 지대는 대비 채는 중월 집이 님보 집에 지대는 대비 체지 님보 라신 남다 채남지 날로 타도바 임베 라신 어떤 님보 스타트한다 도 했는도와 함승가데 간데지라서 그래서는 안에 좀 된대지 티시시비 님보 스면다야 아라시드네 베리 심지라시 틈틈아 여사바 심지라시 여사바 되라 여사베 지대는 대위 취지 님보 라신 취지 님보 라신 남다 그 취남지 날로 타도 돼 아니 뭐뉴고디체 강라 미나 곰나 텐더로 라신 남다 여사바 되라 미나 곰나
Gemangtas.
나
Mangtas.
나서
So Rumchi just read from the in existence since beginningless time. This begins with the question, what does beginningless time refer to? The answer is a citation from the Sri Maladevi Sutra beginning the Tathagata essence, which says that it is not possible to say that it arises at a particular time, but up to that time it does not exist. And then as the element, this begins that which is known as the element, and then continues with the passage from the same sutra. Bhagavan, the Tathagata essence, is the essence of supramundane dhammas. So the element here refers to, as the Buddha taught, then referring to the Tathagata essence, this natural purity. This natural purity being the clear light nature, the clear light nature of the mind.
나 돌드네 드레싱 거라
Is then the dibito lobsa semgi rashiwa sabatires mention.
뒤생이라서 돌드나 통함이 뒤전지 감생에 가르래서나 아니 감대라시비 님보 생각이 간지질에서 그래서나 강 텐더위 셈랑신지 여사와 랑신지 남바타바 대체 텔라미네 곰나 아니 지대는 대위 최탐적인 인보 좋아서야 돼 타두기 아니 뭐니고 두그레
So short, to summarize it then is we can say that what is this what is this element that has existed since beginningless time, then that is referring to the Tathagata Garbha essence. The Tathagata Garbha. So, which is this natural purity. When one focuses on this natural purity and meditates on this, then this becomes the source of all, of all the supramundane phenomena. Of all the source, it is the basis by which one can achieve all the supramundane dhammas, meaning that transformation into the swabhokaya.
일단 내가 공배 안에 탈 안에 된다고 지춘이데 원유고 두와 인장 안에 될라 랑신지 용서다 비치 님보 생명다고 말해 다.
So Because by focusing and meditating on it, it becomes the very essence that produces all supermundane Dharma. It is the essence of the naturally pure Dharmas, because it is the ultimate nature of the naturally pure Dharma.
So
next is the source of all the Dharmas.
아니 연된 다 미셰바당 아니 뒤마셰위체 남지 내당 시당 아니 땡칸라바
So this as the source of all dharmas, this Tathagata essence, then from it, then one can remove all of the defilements through the application of the antidotes. The Bhagavan, therefore, the Tathagata essence is joined to that potential for the removal of all the defilements. It is not separate from the potential to develop all opposing antidotal forces.
chima semji rangshin la ma tishin shiwi nyingbo de sirgana chima semji rangshin la ma shuba yinzang chima da mandre ba rangshin ji mandre ba da du rungwe ane namba yewa dan jebi che dawa xie so da du rungwa yinzang namba yewa dan jebi che chawa xie da namba de
So all of these defilements does not exist in the nature of the mind, so it is by nature it is separate from these defilements and thereby sort of removable. Therefore, it is irremovable from the qualities. It is the source, foundation, and the support of uncreated dharmas. Bhagavan, the Tathagata essence, is not joined to the nature of the defilements. It is separate and removed because the defilements are removable. Because you have this lineage, you circle in samsara. Because this lineage is with defilements, you circle in samsara. If one didn't have this lineage, then one would not be circling in samsara. If we didn't have the lineage, the lineage exists, samsara is established, and if it doesn't exist, samsara cannot be established. Again, the second part, establishing the validity of nirvana, that nirvana is dependent upon having this lineage. And because we have the lineage, then we have the capacity for generating renunciation and the yearning to attain liberation. So this was also explained before. yearning to attain nirvana and wanting to separate or be removed from samsara comes about is possible because of having the lineage.
다 말셔봐 태남지 된뒤나 아니 말셔봐 태남지 된뒤나 지신이 지보 양 체제주관에 숨도 주그래 아 숨도 간들어서 남바타바 미바 귀내가 귀찮아 지신이라 남바타바 미바 귀내가 귀찮아 산제주고 주룽기 이렇게 세발하다네 아니 산제주고 주룽기 차네 리당 이렇게 탑지 랑시지 처면 남바타바 차네 지신이 좋아 지신이다 데뷔 차네 릭사발라 때네 아니 산제지 추구주니 아니 산제지 이시기 이시초기 틀렸지 아니 섬전의 초화지 연구와 인장 데뷔 차네 추구 초하고
And so if the lineage did not exist, there would be no abandoning of samsara, no yearning for nirvana. The occurrence of these states of mind is the work of the lineage as previously explained. To summarize this section, the single entity of suchness becomes three topics in explanation. As a pure focus during the causal phase, it becomes the lineage as a pure focus during the causal phase, it becomes the lineage. This natural purity, from the point of view of its nature and its privation, it is suchness, and from the resultant aspect, it refers to the emanation of the Dhammakaya. Emanation of the Dhammakaya meaning, that how that Dhammakaya pervades, pervades everything, and the activities, how those activities of the Dhammakaya are engaged. In how it engages sentient beings. So from the resultant aspect, it refers to the emanations of the Dhammakaya, the enlightened activities engaging the sentient beings.
Oh yeah, that subject, that subject I say subject that's what come to you can share by say come to you can share by say come to you can share by say that I get Zavada Ya Ching Chen. Come to you can share by say Jadan to you repsi Jadan to you repsi Sunda.
164 in the Tibetan for the outline for this next session, the consciousness that perceives the basic element. So 197. No, the outline, the source outline for the Tibetan or English. So explaining the purity of the element, the basic element, by these 10 presentations. First, that it is this. First is then that it is pure of all of the adventitious defilements, which is illustrated by the 9 examples. And then you have the third point, which is the consciousness that perceives the basic element. And then you have the fourth point, Kamgi Renshi Wanswa, recognizing the nature of this basic element. So those are the 4 outlines.
Oh yeah, that is.
So we'll stop here for all this morning.
Bulwaragi Chokananda Shin Mandala Kamni Ataya